If you're still having problems with your username, then you might want to give these people, send them an email. These two people right here. You can try to call Miss Califomo, but she's in classes all the time, and it'd be better just send them an email. So the first one is KCATALFO@tctc.edu, and the second one is rpepper@tctc.edu. They're the administrators for the college as far as mylabsplus, and they'll help you with username or password or registration. Now, some of you are having issues with your home computer. That you need to call mylabsplus. And you need to write down these two numbers. The first number is Tri-County Tech. Now, the Tri-County Tech Help Desk will help you with email issues. It will help you with username and password on TCTC. It'll help you with registration issues or anything like that having to do with Tri-County Technical College. Do not call down there about mylabsplus. Well, all they're going to tell you to do is call the 1-800 number, which I give you that too. Now, those of you having issues with your computer, you've registered, and what I tell students to do is register downstairs in the lab. That way you won't run into any of the quirkiness with your home computer. And then when you get home, sit down for about an hour and call these people and say, look, my computer's doing this, this, and this. I will tell you that if you have any kind of protective software on your computer, you're probably going to have to disable it while you're registering. Now, I think after you register, I don't think it'll be a problem. But once you register, I think you can leave it on. I think it's when you're registering, I think it causes a problem. After you have registered through Blackboard, after you've gone through Blackboard and you hit the link and you get on mylabsplus, you register, type your access code in or buy an access code, and you're in the course. After you have done that through Blackboard and you're in the course and nothing's blowing up in front of you, then you can log on from then on out with this right here. Sorry. You can save that on your desktop and just go in, because Blackboard half the time is down and you're not able to get to it. So, but you have to go through and register through Blackboard. Don't ask me why. The college has done something to make all of its students go through Blackboard. Okay, I'm shut up. I'm going to shut up now. Once again, after you get onto mylabsplus through Blackboard, go through this website, and it'll be a whole lot easier for you. Should be. Question, gripe, complaint. The only issues that I've heard people having is the issues about the link, and I think that email will take care of that. And the only other issue I've heard is that your computers at home are not doing right with the website. Okay, again, I think that's a lot of having to do with your home computer, and the way to decide that is go downstairs, log on, and see if you log on downstairs without a problem. If you log on downstairs without a problem, then it's your home computer. And then you have to either cut off the protective software, disable it for until the next time you reboot, or 2 or 3 hours or whatever, until you get logged on. And then once you get logged on, then you can go through the website that I give you, and hopefully you won't have to worry about disabling your software anymore. Okay? Capiche? Yes, you, but I understand. Thank you for the interaction. All right. So what are we going to do today? We're going to look at mylabsplus. Now, another reason I think that answers your question over there about the access code, buying another access code, is because this whole thing has changed. This whole setup has changed. So that tells me again it's probably a new book. I've never seen this before. Usually it's called homework, not assignments. That's going to cause problems because everybody's going to look for homework and tests. Well, it's in assignments now. And I went ahead and uploaded your homework because I want to show you some things about the homework. I want to show you what the test looks like. And I want to show you how to print out your book. And I want to show you what study plan is, or what the study plan questions are. So please take notes because I don't want you asking me these questions again because I'm covering it one time and one time only. So first of all, let's look at the homework. The homework looks like this. You click on number 1 and go to it. Now, those of you that want to do it by conventional paper and pencil, click on number 1, go over here to question help, go to print, and print the whole homework assignment. And it'll print the whole homework assignment. You can put it in your notebook, put holes in it, put it in your notebook, print out all the homework assignments for chapter 5, and boom, you got it all there. When you get through, go back and type in the answers. Okay? That's for those people that don't want to do it online. Therefore, you can go home, do it, paper and pencil, then type in your answers online. Either way, you're going to type in the answers online because that way you know how to type in the answers on the what? On the test. So you don't have that excuse, I don't know how to type in the answer. Okay? Questions about that? That's how you print out the homework. Now, this box right here is a very important box. Really? I had to get one of the sorriest questions in the book. I'm trying to find a video. There we go. All right, this question says blah, 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 and you've got to do the problem. Well, let's say you don't know how to do the problem. And you're at home and you're on number 11 and you got 2 more problems to do and you can't get to do the 2 more problems because you can't get past this one. Well, that's what these buttons are for. These buttons are not to take place of the teacher. They're not to teach you by yourself. They're there to help you get over a problem that you can't get over in homework. That's what they're for. There's all kinds of different learning styles represented here. People learn differently. I'm a visual learner. I like to see the problem. I like to see what the puzzle looks like. I like to see when you put a bike together, I like to see the picture. I don't care about the directions. I want to see the picture. And I'm a visual learner. Some of y'all are readers. You'll like to read like 5 books a day. All right? That's the textbook. But some of you like different types of tutoring. There's 2 different types of tutoring. One type of tutor asks you questions while you're doing the problem. You ever had one of those? What does this say? What does this X right here mean? What do you do with this number if it's over here and you want to move it over there? They ask you 5 or 6 different questions before you even start doing the problem. Well, that's what this is. Help me solve this. Help me solve this is what's called a guided tutorial. And a guided tutorial is like a guided lecture. Now, I teach guided lecture. I don't get up here and say, okay, 2x plus 4 is equal to 6. Minus 4 on each side, divide by 2, x is equal to 3. That's not the way I teach. I teach and I ask questions as I go along. That's called a guided lecture. This is called a guided tutorial. It's going to ask you questions as you go along. And if you don't answer questions, there, it tells you if you're wrong, and it tells you, and then eventually you'll get to the end of the question and you'll get the answer or you won't get it. That's a guided tutorial, and that's what you get when you hit help me solve this. That's one learning style. The other learning style besides help me solve this is just forget the question, show me how to do it. Okay? That's the tutor that's in the tutoring lab that does 2x plus 7 is equal to 4, minus 7 divided by 2, x is equal to 3. No questions asked, Just boom, 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 boom. And that's view an example. View an example, boom, 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 boom. No questions asked, just do the problem. That's a different learning style. Then you have the visual learning styles. The video, which gives you a video.
Here's an example of adding integers. Evaluate the following using the number line.
Okay? We don't use the number line. We don't use the number line with Hubert. Why? Because I tell you to think about money. One of the most important things in your life is money. And when I worked at Walmart, I'd be checking out people, and it only take a nanosecond for some people to realize I shortchanged them 5 cents, or 6 cents, or 8 cents, or $1, or whatever. Why? Because people don't mess with their money. All right? And people that say they can't do math, that's BS. Because some of y'all takes a nanosecond to realize you haven't been given the right change. Okay? Now, I can't say that about some cash register people because they don't even know how to make change. You ever give somebody 6 cents, watch your head explode? It's pitiful. And they're taking care of somebody's money, and they can't make change. Anyway, we're going to use money. We're not going to use a number line. We're going to use money. And these are what I love. I love the graphic animations because I don't like to sit there and look at somebody talking. That's why when I do videos, I just do videos of me writing. I don't like to have, to me that takes away from the video. And you hit play.
In this tutorial, you will learn how to add signed numbers.
And it tells you next, and then you go through and it does the tutorial. So those are your visual learning styles.
Let's use a number line to help us add various combinations of signed numbers. In this example, we'll use a number line to add 2 positive numbers, 3 and 2. We start at the point corresponding to the first number, in this case, 3.
Gosh, I can't get rid of it.
Since the second number, 2, is positive,
What happened to it?
we move 2 units to the right and
Shut up. Okay. And after you got your readers, here's your readers. And these people like to read books, and it goes right to the book where this information is in the book. So you can read 15, 20 pages of the book if you want to. And there it is. So if you turn to page 215 in your book, it'll look just like this. And you can print it out, print buttons right here, and it'll show you how to print the pages out. Okay? So, different learning styles. Different learning styles help you get over the hump whenever you're doing your homework. But let's say that none of them help you. None of them help you. What do? You hit this one right here. That's my favorite button because this button is so important. One, it gives you a way to send me a problem and say, I have no idea how to do this problem. Instead of raising your hand and saying, I don't know how to do the problem, and being all embarrassed and don't want to raise your hand and don't want to ask a question. This is the way you can do it. Another reason, it's real time. It sends it just as soon as you do the problem. So if you want me to do it virtual office hours, then all you need to do is send it to me, put a note on it that says, can you send this right back with a video if you're not in class? How do you know I'm not in class? Because I gave you my office hours. Whenever I'm in my office, I'll do it and send it right back to you. 3, it's a gauge for the class. If I give you 5.1 homework and nobody sends me any questions, then I know that everybody knows how to do 5.1. If I get 50 questions, that means that I didn't do my job and y'all didn't learn a thing. And I need to go over it again. So the number of questions that I get dictates how fast the class goes, or vice versa. Okay? What do? You just hit ask my instructor. I don't know how to do this problem. And I hate math and you suck. Okay, well, I'm not expecting too much from my students. Okay? There. And I said, now I did that for a reason. I put a unique message on there for a reason. To show you that I didn't write this 20 minutes ago before class started. Did you hear that little ding ding? That means that I got email. It came that quick. And I have to log back in. And there it is. And the reason I know is because there is that message, and I just click on it, and there's the problem, and I do it in class for you. Notice I have a little set of files over here, and there's 155. So what I will do is the day of class, I will go in here and I'll move all the questions that I get. I'll put it in there for Math 155, and I'll put 3 or 4, however many I get that day, and the first 15, 20 minutes of class, we'll go over all those questions. Okay? So that's why that button is so important. Don't come in here saying, I got a question, I got a homework question. All right, what section is on? Oh no, it's between 5.3 and 5.4. Okay, don't know what section it is, between 2 sections. What number? I think it was number 5 or number 6. Don't know what number it is, and all you had to do was hit one button. One button. I'm not going to spend time going over it. Then I have to pull up your homework and look at 2 sections and then look for 2 problems that you didn't do. What does that eat up? It eats up class time, which somebody could be asking a question the legitimate way and push the button and already sent the question. I'm not going to look up your questions. I've given you a delivery system that all you have to do is hit one button. Well, actually 2 buttons. Ask my instructor and send. And instead of doing that, you come in here and you say, I don't know what section it was. And I'm going to go on to the next question. Okay? All right, that's homework. Now let's look at something else with the homework. Let's look at this. How many times do you take the homework? How many times do you have to do a question? How many times you won't? If I could ever find it. There. Let's see, we got this problem wrong. We got an X. So I hit, oh wait a minute. I'm doing it again. 4. 4. Okay. I got that question wrong. That question is number 5.211. So I go down here and I click similar question. And I say -9, you owe $9, you have $1, you owe 8, right? Now watch that X. Watch it right quick, because it may do it real quick, it may, I don't know. You see it? Now I go back, and that X is turned into a what? What should everybody turn in on their homework? Will they? 32s, 67s. I'm not talking about on one section of homework. I'm talking about on the whole homework period. Everybody's supposed to turn in 100 or 90 at least. I'll get 52s, I'll get 67s, I'll even get 17s. You figure it out. Some teachers turn the responses off. And if you get 3 responses wrong, then it marks it wrong, period, and you can't go back and change it. I have a problem with that. Why do I have a problem with that? Well, what is homework? Practice. So let's say I'm teaching you how to play the piano. And I give everybody in here a lesson on playing the piano, and I send you all home today, and I'm going to say, look, I want y'all to go home and I want you to practice, 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 but only practice for 15 minutes. What's the difference in cutting off a question and making you practice for 15 minutes and you can't practice no more? That's ridiculous. So I fix it to where you can infinitely take these questions and you can hit similar question all day and it just regenerates every single time. Even if you get it right, you can hit similar question and do another one. So you can do them over and over and over and over. I had one student actually do one question 50 times. He actually thought he was doing a different question each time. He did one question 50 times. Listen, I get all kinds in here, okay? Not just in this class. I ain't kidding you. I get some kids, I just don't really think they should have a driver's license or procreate, either one. I really don't think that, because I ain't kidding you. I just don't. You lock them down spelling mom backwards. Anyway, some of y'all went right over your head. Spell mom backwards right quick. Anyway, so everybody should turn in a 100 on their test. Everybody. I meant their homework. You won't, but everybody should. The class average for the homework will be somewhere around 80. And that's because everybody's turning in 90 and above, but there's only 20% of y'all that has like a 0, a 57, a 26, and they pull the class average down on the homework. So that's the homework, how to answer questions, how to do it over if you want to do it over to get it right, how to send questions in. That's how you do that. That's homework. That's homework and gradebook. What do you think gradebook is? I mean, take those two words. What do you think gradebook means? It's your grade. Remember back in high school, your teacher had that black, I don't know what they have now, but back in grammar school or whatever, they had this black book that had the spirals through it. That was their gradebook. Okay, that's what it is. It keeps up with your grade. Now, the reason I'm being so cynical and so sarcastic is I will have somebody in this classroom ask me at the end of the semester, how do I find out where my grade is? Where do I find out where my grade is? Do they get a reply from me? Nope. And if they ask me in person, I say, I have no idea. Or if they call me, I'll say, I have no idea. You have a good day. Click. I'm not going to sit here and tell you where to find your grade when you got a button on your dadgum mylabsplus that says gradebook. Okay? I'm not going to do it. So, yes, everything's online, everything. Remember the handout that I gave y'all that says everything's online. Things that you'll be graded on. I say test and homework online. Now, I have to give y'all some in-class tests. I have to do that. So they'll go in as a quiz grade. I'll put them in myself. Okay? And it'll show up on here as a quiz grade. And the quiz grade is over 100 points. It's 105 points out of 105 points. So the quiz grades do nothing but what? Extra credit. Okay? So, all right. So let's look at this. What does this mean right here? This little thing over here is a kind of a status bar, menu bar, whatever you call it. If you got gaps in it, what does that mean? You hadn't finished all the work. If it's all full, then that means you're finished. By the end of the semester, when you take your final exam, both of these bars should be full. If they're not full, then that means you haven't turned in something. What do? I call the instructor and find out. No, you don't. You go down here and you look, you use this button right here and you hit homework. Let's see what my homework looks like. And it'll have a grade down here, and it'll have anything that you missed. It'll have a 0 beside it if you didn't do it. And you'll be able to tell which one's got gaps in it. If your test is all the way full up to this mark, then you don't need to check it unless you want to just check your grades. And if you want to do that, you just hit test. And it'll show you your test grades. And you want an overall grade, you hit all assignments. There is nothing you cannot do in this area. Nothing. You can check. You can check to see what's incomplete. You can check your grade for homework. You can check your grade for test. You can go back and check each grade. You can go back and pull up a test and print it out. You can do that through here. I'll do it after I take this first test. So that's what Gradebook does. Gradebook is something that contains all of your grades. Chapter contents. This is how you pull up the book. Go to the chapter, section, and hit e-text. When you hit e-text, it'll pull up the book. Those of you that have a book that's not opened, because you might return it. If you've opened it already, if you was to put it on your desk right now and turn to page 204, it would look just like this. Number theory. Okay? If I want to print the whole section of 5.1 out, I go up here to print and print out page 1, page 2, page 3. Looks like to me if you hit 10, it should print out all 10 pages, but I don't know if it will or not. It may just print out one at a time. Y'all have to play with it. I don't know. But between the section that you read, you know, all sections in math books have a reading section and a homework section, right? What that says, 10 pages, it says that it's not 10 pages, it's not more than 10 pages. So you can print out that section, put it front to back, or put it on each one or whatever, put 3 holes in it, and put it in your notebook. You know what we're going over by the syllabus. We're going over 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 6, 5, I can't remember. 5, all the way to 5.6, I believe. You just have to look in your notebook. I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it today. But I think it's 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.6, and then 11.1, I think, something like that. And you can print those out, put them in your notebook, and you don't have to worry about a book for chapter 5. Now, in your homework, you'll see that there's some chapter 1. I'm not covering chapter 1, so just mark those off. And if I skip something, just mark it off, because you don't have to do it. If I skip something, don't go in the homework and do it. 2 things are wrong with that. If you have a question about it, I'm not going to answer it. I'll answer it outside of class. And 2, you're just wasting your time, because you're not going to get a grade for it, because I said I skipped it. What I cover, you're responsible for it. If I skip it, you're not responsible for it. How do you know? You attend class or you watch the videos. Okay? Or you have a reliable source in the classroom when you're absent to tell you that I skipped it. And that's how you use the ebook. Now let's go look at the test. One other thing. If you go into chapter contents and you hit chapter 5, 5.1, and you see study plan. Study plan is extra problems. Each teacher at Tri-County Tech, each full-time math teacher, has 2 or 3 courses that they're responsible for. Each teacher puts up this class and sets it up for everybody to use. They pick 5 or 10 problems out of the study plan to assign for homework. There may be 5 or 10 problems on your homework, but for the study plan, there may be 30 problems. So what could the study plan be for you? Extra problems, extra practice. Okay? So it doesn't hurt you. It helps you, but it doesn't help you as far as a grade. It helps you improve your grade, but it doesn't help you as far as getting a grade. So it doesn't hurt you, and it doesn't help you as far as taking your grade or adding to your grade. It helps you as far as learning the material. So you see, in our homework section, there was only like 15 problems. There's quite a bit of the problems there. Click on it. And you can work on these problems all day long. This is for the person that, let's say I show you how to do prime factorization, which I will. I'll show you how to do it. And then you go home and I do 2 problems for you in class. And then you go home and do 3 problems in your homework. There's only 3 prime factorizations in your homework, and you feel like, well, I wish I could do some more problems, that's where you go. You go to study plan and you work as many problems as you can. Or you hit similar problem on your homework for prime factorization and it'll regenerate some problems. Either way, it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay? All right. So, let's move on to the test. So we've done our homework, we sent problems in, we finished up everything, and now we're going to do our test. I'm not used to this assignments, I'm sorry. I'm used to having a button for test. And you pull up test. And there's my test. Now, when it pulls up, it's going to ask me, are you ready to start? Now, is this just a dummy page, or is this a page that you really need to think about? You really need to think about it, because some of y'all are going to try to take a test at home. Your computer's already blowed up 2 or 3 times, all right? You tried to get on, it locked down 2 or 3 times. There's lightning bolts coming out of the sky. There's a cloud outside, and there's flood waters about 3 foot, and you're going to try to take a test. I don't think so. Don't take a test when there's a thunderstorm outside. Do not take a test when it's snowing outside. Do not take a test when it's ice and freezing ice outside. Do not take a test when there's 3 or 4 kids running around, naked as Jay Bird, supper's on the table, the kitchen looks a mess, whatever the case may be. You don't take the test when you're going through all kinds of stuff at home. Now, I have to tell y'all that because I got a student that texted me one day and said, my computer just blew up. I said, why? I just tried to take a test. And I determined we wasn't having a thunderstorm in Anderson County that night. And she was trying to take a test, and there was a thunderstorm. I'm not talking about, oh, there's a cloud here. I'm talking about dang old purple and lightning, and she's trying to take a test. I said, where do you live? She, Anderson. I said, you're not having it? Yeah. Procreate, driver's license. I ain't kidding you. Some of these, I just don't understand. And it wasn't a deadline. She didn't have, it wasn't due tonight. It was like due 2 or 3 days. And she's taking a test and it's thundering and lightning outside. What's going to happen if you try to take a test and it's thundering and lightning outside? What computer is lightning going to hit? It's going to hit yours because you're taking a test. It's called Murphy's Law. What can go wrong, what? Will go wrong. Thing will get you a half a bottle of tea or whatever, put it beside big old glass, and when everybody's asleep, that's when you take the test. Or when everybody's gone to town for 2 or 3 hours, that's when you take the test. Or it's nice and sunny outside and there's no storms, that's when you take a test. You don't take a test when you got to go to the movie theater with the family in 30 minutes. Movie place, whatever. My daughter used to call it a theater. So after you have decided whether you want to take the test or not, you hit start. And that's when the clock starts ticking. And see, there's a test question. You got 31 questions. And I'm just going to hit next. Oh, I don't want to do this. Hold on a minute. I'm going to go back and change it. Hold on a second. I don't want to do that because I'm going to show you something. Assignment. Test. Settings. Okay, where'd you go? What the heck is it? I'm not used to this. I'm sorry. Hold on. This is a new. Go back and do that again. Edit. That's what I need to edit. Give me a second. Now, go to assignment. Where's assignment? I'm not used to this new. There we go. Alright, yes, start test. Okay, now this one's a math question. I'm going to go by it because we got to learn how to do it. I'm going to go by it. I'm going to show you. Oh, there's a bonus question. What is Hubert's email address and cell number? Which one is it? Golly, y'all smart. Or is it the only answer that's applicable? There's a reason I do this. I'll tell you after the test. Next. Why does Hubert not give extra credit, extra points, or drop any grades the final weeks of the semester? I want you to tell me the answer. Because I want you to fail and live in a ditch. That's what I want you to do. I'm sorry. B says because he gives me these type questions on tests and he drops the lowest 2 on each unit test. B. When does the homework terminate? Well, when should the homework terminate? I usually don't do it, but I should put the night before Christmas. Before the test starts. D is in Delta. There's a math question. Will Hubert's final exam be online? You asked that question. Tell me what the answer is. Yes. I should take no off of there because that's a possible question. That's a possible answer. Test question. When is the last day of class for this semester? Now this is last semester or whenever, so it's different. But which one you think it is? D, because it's the only one that's applicable. Judgment Day is spelled wrong. Okay. My teacher sucks. That's not true. And September 11th is in the past. Even though I had somebody tell me they were offended that I used September the 11th because somebody they knew died in September 11th. I said, well, somebody I knew died on December 7th, 1941. And they said, you know what they said? What's that? So if you're going to complain to me about September the 11th, at least know what December 7th, 1941 is before you come complain to me. Anyway, I put September 11th there because, like 1941, we shouldn't forget those dates. I'm thin, black sheep. Anyway, there's a math question. There's a math question. There's a math question. There's a math question. If you take several forms of a test in Hubert's class, how is it counted? B is in Bravo. He takes the highest grade and drops the lowest. I personally like, he calls you a loser and fails you. That's the one I like. Where is all of Hubert's homework and tests done? The kitchen is the best place. Oop, I put the bathroom, I'm sorry. Math question. What branch did I serve in? Please don't get that one wrong. Math, math, math. What's the weights of the grades in my class? Why is it not B? Doesn't add up to 100. When is the week of finals? There's December 7th, 1941. I'm offended. When is it? B. It's the only one that's applicable. Scientific notation. Does Hubert replace your lowest grade with your final exam? Which one you think it is? B. It's the only one that can be. It's the one that only one that applies to the question. Have you noticed the pattern with my answers? What's the pattern? You tickling me. You getting me tickled now. What's the pattern? There's only one answer, and you have to be non-sentient to get it wrong. But wait till I get to the end of the test. Next. 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 Still waiting on a couple. I guess we're done. Okay, so we're done with the test. How many problems did we have? 31 problems. You had about 10 that are bonuses. So everybody should make above a what on this test? 30. Everybody should make a 30 or above. A 36. 35 or above. Will you? There'll be people that turns in 20s on this test. You ever meet somebody that says they failed my class? Especially if they tell you that they made below a 50 or a 20, or you might want to step away from them really slow. Because either you're going to get hit by lightning, or stupid or lazy are going to get on you, one of the two. Because there is no way that a person can make below a 40 or a 30 in my class. No way. Unless they just don't come at all. Because every test. Now, what if this test had 20 questions on it? 25 questions? Then that would have been 4 points apiece, then you would have made at least a 40. Because there's about 10 bonus questions that are on each test. And you know what's so bad about it? Do I change them? No. Do people still get them wrong by the final exam? Yep. That's no joke. I still have people answering the 30-30-30 question with 30-30-30 and still answering. The second most missed one is my home phone number and my phone number and my email address. I don't even know how you missed that one because it's the only answer with the email address. Well, a legitimate phone number and email address. And that's how you do a test. Now, what if you want to review it? Well, you hit the button that says review test. And what if you want to print it out? Go up here to question help and print. I would suggest you print your highest graded test after each unit, because my final exam is made up of what? Old tests. So that way, if you have your 4 tests printed and stapled, you have a study guide for the test. All you got to do, you don't have to remember, you just have to glance over the test and see what you were tested on, and that's it, because by then you already know how to do the math. Capiche? And that's how you do the test. So of course, after you take the test and after you printed it out, you go to your grade book and there's the test. Now the reason it says 24 is because the unit tests are only 80% of your grade. Now, why is this whole thing taken up? Because I haven't downloaded any other tests. So as far as mylabsplus is concerned, I'm done with the test. I don't have any more tests because I haven't loaded any. The homework, I've loaded some homework, so that's why you've only got a fraction bar right here. Let me show you something else. I don't know if it, since this is a new template, I need to show you something. I don't think, no. Let me look under test. Yeah. See these tests? These don't say Hubert. These are generic tests. They come with the book. They come with everybody gets these tests. These are generic tests. There's a post-test and a pre-test. Now, you can utilize them if you want to. They don't count as a grade, but you can take the post-test before we start Chapter 3 and see what material you suck at. Okay, if you take, I don't know how many questions there are, but let's say there's 20 questions, then it will tell you, if you take that post-test and you do those 17 questions, then it's going to pick out the problems in the study plan that you need to work on. And you don't have to work on all the other ones. Now, this is for a student that's studying on their own and has a teacher like a lab, like a student that's in pre-algebra, and another student in intro, and another student in 155, and another student in 110. Different classes, different courses. There's 20 or 30 students in a classroom taking different courses. That's what this is for. But you're welcome to go through and try it, and then you can see what you need to do in the study plan, and then you can take the test. But the thing is, my tests that I make are not like their tests. So you may want to do the homework, because I stress problems in the classroom and in the homework that I put on the test. So if I say this is a good test question, chances are you're going to see it on the test again. And I'm not one of these teachers that say, oh, that looks like a good test question, and then you come to the test and it doesn't have anything like that. I'm not one of those teachers. I'm very predictable. Very predictable. So if I tell you that that looks like a good test question, it's going to be on the test. And you'll see the test. We'll go over the test in class before I give it to you. You mean I'm going to show you the test? You think this is going to be the same test that you get? No, it's not. Let me show you how I do it, and then you can see. If you look back, when I went through and edited that test a while ago, see all these questions right here? You see where it says that 2 right there, and then it has like a bunch of 2s right here? These are all different questions, but for the number 2 question. I have put 10 questions for one single question. It's called pooling. So here's one. The 16th question has how many questions to pull from? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions to pull from. So let's say that, I don't know y'all's last names, but y'all two are sitting beside each other. So let's say y'all sit beside each other in the lab. Will your number 6 look like your number 6? No. Your number 6 may look like her number 13. And your number 13 may look like her number 1. Because I randomly generate the numbers. So this number 16 question might be your number 1 question. It might be your number 3 question. But then again, inside that question, there's 5 other questions that I could put in your number 3 and your number 10 or whatever. Then I also tell it to regenerate numbers. So you may have 2x plus 4 in your number 16, which is your number 3. You may have 4x minus 2 for your number 10. And it regenerates problems. So there's 3 different regenerations or reorganizations or shuffling that I do with these tests. Now, I'm not going to stop anybody from cheating. I may have somebody take the test for somebody. I don't really care, because you're pretty much a loser, so I'm not worried about it. 80% of the population of a class is not going to do something like that. It's like trying to keep somebody out of your house. When somebody wants to get in your house, they're going to get in your house. I hate to say that, but no matter what happens. Okay. Anyway, that's what I do. So the chances of you getting the same test that I do the probability is very low, meaning that it ain't going to happen. You can sit beside each other and take 3 or 4 tests, but it's not going to be the same test. Capiche? All right. So Who's got questions on mylabsplus? No questions at all? I covered it so well that y'all don't have any questions. Okay. Well, what was the problem? You finally got it. Okay. All right. Hold on a minute, and I'll pull up I got to check, make sure everybody's here, and then we'll talk about what we're going to be doing Wednesday. Usually how that works is when we get to, and that's why the syllabus is not the syllabus, but the outline. Did I give you an outline? I didn't? Okay, I thought it was at the end of the syllabus. It has the units. I'll get you one. But that's why it's so important. When we get toward the end of a section, like a unit, like I think the last section in Unit 1 is 11.1. When we get to 11.1, I'll say, before I start, I'll say, we're getting toward the end of a section, so that means what? It means a test. If I say something about if I say something about a test, then that means the homework is fixing to what? It's fixing to turn off. Now 11.1 can't turn off because I haven't covered it yet. So that means you've got a couple of days before 11.1 cuts off. When 11.1 cuts off, that means that the test is going to what? Start. I also give you 1 day that you can come in and ask questions, and I usually do that the day that I go through the test. So what does that mean? That means you'll have about 2 or 3 days warning before I start the test. Does that make sense? And I give you a week to take the test. And usually I try to cut off the homework before the test starts, but I usually don't. I usually cut it off in the middle, so that way some of the slackers can have a few days to get some more homework done. Okay? What? I didn't find nothing. Set attendance Monday, and I'm going to go through, and then we'll talk about a couple more things. Allie, Bennett, Bradley's here. Carter, Cromer, Edwards, Ellison, Erickson. Why do I know that name? You wrote me an email, and it was about what? Okay, but you got the information I sent you? Okay, good. Gilliard, Jacobs, Littman, Mast, Reed, Scott, Smith, Tucker, Wilkes. Okay, does anybody have any questions for me? Any questions on anything that I've covered so far? Wednesday we will start 5.1. So that means you got to have all your stuff together. 1, you got to have access code. 2, you got to be online, be on mylabsplus. 3, have your materials for class. 4, I can't think of anything else. Nobody's got any questions. All right, y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all Wednesday. Be ready to start.